This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
The Federal High Court has ruled that the 6-month suspension of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan deprived the people of Kogi Central of proper representation. Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan was suspended for 6 months by the Senate on the 6th of March 2025 on the grounds of gross misconduct. In this conversation, we speak with Jerry Wright Uku, who is a journalist that covers the Senate.
The court judgment was very clear, even though we know that some fifth columnists have gone to town with different interpretations. But the truth is that the court has declared that her suspension is excessive, is unconstitutional, is null and void. And the judge was very, very clear in stating that she should be reinstated into the red chambers immediately. But that is not to say that the court did not also, give Senator Natasha a slap in the wrist. Well, I wouldn't say it's a slap in the wrist, but I mean, she was fined for 5 million naira and required to issue a public apology to the court because, she violated the court order. She was, both parties were asked not to comment on the issue on social media, but she went on her Facebook page and, wrote a satirical apology. And the court really frowned at that. But having said that, let us be clear, the court has said the suspension is illegal and the Kogi Central Senator should be back to her seat in the red chambers. To just further, talk about what the court has said, the court said that as much as the Senate has the right to discipline its members, it cannot violate constitutional provisions. I mean, suspending a senator means you are denying thousands, if not millions of people their right to be represented in the Nigerian parliament. So what the court simply said is that the Senate has gone beyond its mandate. It cannot deny a legislator the right to, represent her people.
The Senate, on the other hand, has said that it's not gotten the certified true copy of the judgment. Is this a reasonable stumbling block towards the resumption of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan?
Of course it is. Yes, the Senate is dilly-dallying on this, but the truth is that she has to resume. Except the Senate wants to appeal. It has the right to appeal the judgment and maybe get a stay of execution for Senator Natasha not to resume immediately. But, the judgment was very clear. She has to resume. In as much as the Senate spokesman have said that they've not seen the CTC of the judgment, I don't think that's enough excuse. So the Senate needs to, be above board. The Senate needs to respect the court's ruling and ensure that Senator Natasha is back to the red chamber because it's her right. As much as there have been squabbles between herself and the leadership of the Senate, it doesn't stop the fact that she was validly elected by the people of Kogi Central, and she should be on her seat, representing them, speaking on their behalf, and, table whatever issues they have in that senatorial district to the National Assembly.
Do you get the sense that the Senate could actually appeal the judgment?
Well, yeah, the Senate has a right to do that. But then, this is politics and ego is at play here. Yes, the Senate can do that, but, the Senate needs to, this is just like an internal squabble that can be resolved among senators. I mean, from the get-go, some of us thought that it was actually excessive for the Senate to suspend Senator Natasha for 6 months. Don't forget that all senators were, voted for by their people. And in as much as we have a Senate president, deputy Senate president, and some ranking members, it doesn't stop the fact that all senators are equal. So if you look at it, even from the moral angle, I don't think a senator has a right to suspend another senator. That being said, Senator Natasha also faulted, did not comply to the rules of the Senate, to be honest with you, because the Senate has standing rules. there are clear rules that senators should obey. I mean, when your seat has been moved, you have no right not to sit in to change your seat. It's a standard practice in the Senate. Like we have seen in the past few weeks, some senators have moved to other parties. So what is required of the Senate leadership is to tweak those seats and ensure that senators move from one point to another. So yes, Senator Natasha faulted in her actions. She was at fault clearly to not have obeyed the rules of the Senate, but suspending her was just it was wrong, to be honest. And she ought to resume. The Senate needs to drop this ego and move on. There are various, in fact, there are many national issues that we should be focusing on right now, and this should, be in the past already.
Is it possible to gauge or get a sense of what the Senate's mood is ahead of resumption today?
Yeah, of course. Reporters, we, as usual, wait for Senator Natasha at the entrance to see if she would show up. But it's her right to show up. She has to obey the court's ruling. Whether the Senate's leadership will try to stop her, we don't know yet. We are all looking out for that. The Senate has its internal security measures too. If there are feelings that her presence might snowball into chaos, she might be stopped even from the main gate, not accessing the National Assembly itself. But we look forward to seeing her. I mean, naturally, this court ruling should just put this case to bed. Let's all move on with important national issues. But of course, everybody is expecting to see what plays out, if she will show up or not. Since the Senate has not come out with a clear stance on this ruling, it's only expected that Senator Natasha will resume, pending when the Senate will now, come out with its own clear stance. But like I said, all hands, we are all looking forward to it and hoping that she resumes, and parliamentary activities just go on as usual, so that we can move on to all important national issues.
Jerry Wright Uku is a journalist who covers the Senate, joining us to speak this morning on the resumption of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. She is expected to resume at the Senate after the Federal High Court in Abuja ruled that her suspension, a 6-month suspension by the Senate, doesn't have constitutional backing and prevents her constituency of Kogi Central of proper representation in the Senate. You're still listening to Radio Now 95.3 FM Lagos. We urge you to stay tuned. The conversations continue on Now Breakfast.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.